Okay. Hello everybody, welcome to Yogalates. This is a beginner to intermediate level workout. It's going to be about 20 minutes long, so there's options to make things a little bit more challenging, or you can always skip with the first variation that I've shown. All you'll need is either like a mat or a towel to lie down on. Ideally, you'd want to have something a little bit thicker for the stuff where we're lying down, just to protect your back a little bit more, but a thick towel is fine. So we are going to get started lying all the way down on your back, and just take a moment to acknowledge all of the curves of the spine. So feel the back of your head pressing into the mat, your shoulder blade area pressing into the mat, and then also right the back of the hips pressing into the mat. And then noticing the spaces in between. So there's the curve of your neck where there's a space, and there's a space for your low back. Trying to broaden the collarbones out to the side, so we're opening up through the front of the chest. And begin to take some deep breaths. So for this lying down work, we're going to use a Pilates style breath. We're going to inhale through your nose, and you can exhale really however you like, but either some sort of forceful exhale to engage through your lower abdominals, or some sort of breath. There's a couple different styles and techniques, but you just want to have a forceful, strong exhale. We're going to start by tilting the pelvis, creating a really big arch in the low back, and then we're going to round and imprint the spine, which means flattening out through the back. So you're going to arch and round through the back, and then tuck and press it in. And so you may not feel this, but it's using your lower abdominals to manipulate the pelvis and move through your low back. Now we want to hold in a neutral position, somewhere between these two. We'll inhale to reach our hands up towards the sky, towards the ceiling, and then nod your chin to your chest. And so imagine like someone is pressing down through the bottom of your ribs, and that is the motion that lifts you up into this chest lift position. And then we're going to lower back down. So it doesn't come from pulling up through the head. It comes from pressing down through the lower ribs and pulling them in. And you can use your exhale here. As you lift up, think press down through the arms, exhale, and return. 2 more just like that. Exhale as you lift and lower down. 1 more time. Exhale and lower back down. Okay, bringing your hands out by your side for stability. Going into knee lifts next. So this is the beginner variation. You're going to bring one knee up into this tabletop position, and then switch. Other knee lifts and switch. So you want to make sure your knee is over your hip and your shins parallel to the ground. If you're feeling really comfortable here, you're able to maintain the neutral spine. You can float the knees into tabletop and go into toe taps, where one foot taps down. So you want to make sure you're still through the pelvis and it isn't moving as your knees are moving. And if you're feeling really good here and want even more of a challenge, you can glue the legs together and tap them both down at the same time. Just really want to make sure for this one that you're not feeling anything through the low back. It should all be your lower abdominals pulling in. And the more challenging part is where you want to exhale. So I really feel the pull when my knees move away from me. So that's where I want to exhale. And 1 more time. And then back up. Okay. So you can hold your knees here in tabletop. Take your arms up towards the ceiling or the sky. We're going to go into dead bugs, basically. So you're going to move opposite arm and opposite leg away from each other, and then back in. So this is just like a crawling motion. And if it's too confusing doing the arms and the legs at the same time, because we all have those days, you can just do legs or arms. The legs are going to be a little bit more challenging because they're a little bit heavier. Okay, once you feel like you've mastered that, let's move into side to side. So again, left arm, right leg, side and center, and then side and center. And all of this is coming from the core. I'm stabilizing through my abdominals and then moving my limbs. One more time on each side. With every exhale, pulling the navel into the spine, and then set the hands and the feet down. So take a moment, realign, find those natural curves to the spine, press your hands down, and start to articulate, lifting from the hips up into a bridge position here, and then slowly articulate down. So in this position, I do not want you turning your head side to side. Just try to listen and move. Press down through your feet, through your shoulders, lift the hips up, and then slowly lower down. If you're feeling good here, you can start to add a lift of the arms, reaching them up towards the ceiling, and then press it back down. And lift up, and press down. If you're feeling really good and want even more, you can lift up a leg like we're marching. You'll really feel the glute activation through the leg that is pressing in the ground. And the key here is to move slowly with control. Think of grounding through your body, pressing down to lift up. Last time, this side, and then slowly lower. So we're going to alter our position here. If this bothers your knees or hips at all, you could just go into like maybe a wider position or more parallel position. Also, if you have sciatic nerve issues, this might be a little bit uncomfortable. So press down, lift your hips up, and slowly lower. So this is our frog bridge. You're pushing into the outer edges of your feet, pressing down through your shoulders. Let's do 3 and 2. And then we're going to hold the last one up here. So I want you to push the knees open for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Keep the abdominals pulling in. 2, 1. Hold it up here. Engage your glutes. Lift up for 10, 9. So this comes from squeezing my butt and not just from thrusting my hips in the air. 5, 4, 3. Keep the abdominals pulled in. Keep the collarbones open. 1. And then slowly lower all the way down. Good. Let's reach the legs out long in front of us. We're going to go into a roll-up. So if you have tighter hamstrings, you may want to bend your knees. Inhale to reach your hands up towards the ceiling. So practicing, starting with that chest lift. Draw your chin towards your chest. Slowly start to round forward, 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 forward. And then you end up seated. It's a really hard move. It takes a long time to get exactly right. So don't feel bad if your first one was kind of a little bit all over the place. We'll step the feet forward, coming into a malasana position. So my feet are about mat width apart, my heels are in, toes are out, and I'm going to move into my yogi squat. So if your range of motion doesn't allow you to go down quite this far, you can come up to with your hips parallel to the ground or your forearms onto your thighs. We're going to go into Kali Mudra, interlacing the fingers and pointing out through your index fingers. And then you're going to press up and then sit back down as low as you can comfortably go. So if you start to feel anything in your knees or your hips, I would say do a smaller range of motion first. Whew. I think it's just sunshine, but I'm starting to feel a little sweat coming on. And then let's find about a halfway position. We'll reach our hands out in front of us and find some little pulses here. So I'm keeping my abdominals pulled in so my back is long. 2 and 1. Hold it down low here. Now try maybe just lifting one heel up and then switching, lifting the other heel up and switch, or maybe both heels lift and we do little pulses for 10, 9, 8, 7. Don't lose your balance. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, set the heels down. And let's step into the center of your mat. So if you need to readjust your mat or anything so you can see the camera, go for it. You're going to step nice and wide, about wider than your shoulder distance for sure. When I have my hands down, they're about in line with my knees. Feet are turned out again. Take a deep breath in, reach up, and then exhale, pull your elbows down by your side. And inhale up, exhale, and inhale, and exhale. Okay, next one, we're going to hold it down here. And then little pulses. So press and think about engaging through your inner thighs like you're trying to pull on the mat. 3, 2, 1. Now hold it down here. Lift up one heel and then switch. And then switch. And then switch. Trying to remain tall like you have some string through the crown of your head. And then maybe float both heels up and then little pulses. You can have your heels lifted or lowered for this. Try and stay low the whole time without losing your balance for 3, 2, 1, and then set your feet down. Inhale, reach your hands up. Okay, we're gonna turn to our right. Coming into a 90-90 lunge. So it means you have a 90-degree bend at your front knee and at your back knee. We'll take our hands to prayer to start, just kind of lowering down and lifting up. And lower and lift. For 4, and 3. It's a lot harder on the grass, or if you're outside, it's a little bit less easy to balance. And we'll hold it down here, bringing your arms out to the side. Now pulse your arms open and back, thinking of opening it through your pecs. So you hold here for 8, 7. Noticing how my ribs are staying in, I'm just trying to move at the shoulder. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now this one might be a little bit more challenging. You might want to step your foot in a little bit and just slightly bend through the knees. We're going to be here and then straighten and tip forward. So it can be pretty shallow to start. If you're ready for full range, have your 90-90 and then straighten out, reach your hands up behind you, coming into our shoulder extension. Ooh. So we're stretching out through the front of the shoulders. Let's do 2 more. Down and then extend and down, extending through knees, extending through shoulders, through elbows, and then lift back up. Okay. So if you know balance is not your jam, bring your hands down first and then lift your leg up. Otherwise, spring yourself forward. Try and catch your balance. If you need one hand to go down, you can. So again, you can have fingertips down the whole time for this one, or palms at the chest. And then bend your knee towards your calf and then reach out. And bend and reach. And bend and reach. 2 more. Bend and reach, and then hold it down here. So think, move your knee an inch away and back in, and you should feel this right through the outside of that standing glute. Lengthen through your spine. And 3, 2, and 1. Lengthen the leg all the way back out. We'll stand up and through our second position and then turn to the side for our 90-90 lunge on this side. Hands in prayer. Lower and lift. And lower and lift. Breathe, feels nice. And 2 and 1. Reaching your arms out to the side. Now pulse your hands open, open. Keeping the ribs pulling in. Keeping the abdominal pulling in. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now you can make in. You need to, and then straighten out the arms and legs. Fold forward and back up, and fold forward. See if you can towards your knee, rounding through your back. And 3, and 2. Little balance challenge. And last one. Or slingshot yourself forward, try and find your balance here in our warrior 3 position, and then knee to calf. And so try to find that warrior 3 each time, so you're engaging through the glute in that lifted leg as well. If you need to set your hand, one or both down as well. This would be a great place for blocks too if you have them. Ooh. And don't shift your gaze while you're moving, or it will be even more challenging to balance. Hold this next one in, and then move your knee an inch away from your calf, and then back in, and out, and in. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to reach this leg back behind us, long lunge. Bring your hands down, and step here. Pushing the ground. Always lower your knee here if you need to, or always come down to your forearm. Okay. So make sure your head is in planks. Okay, now we're going to go some push-ups. So tip, if push-ups are hard for you on the ground, you'll still have the same bending your elbows and straightening. I'm going to do these for my knees today. but you can always tuck your toes under and lift the knees up. Lower, lower, lift, lift, and lift, lift, lower, lower. Comes with you. Don't leave behind. We're halfway there. Lower, lower, and lift, lift. Lifted lower, lower, and lift. Lower, lower, and lift. Nice. We'll sit back into a pose. Reach your hands out long in front of you. Take a deep breath. Let your forehead rest against the mat. Okay. And tuck the toes under. Lift your hips up into your right leg up behind us. And then bend your knee in towards your nose. Up behind you. So shoulders, you can always come down to all fours and do the same thing here. Knee, nose. Inhale, reach it out long. And exhale to go across the body. Knee, left elbow, lower the leg, lift for 3, 2, and 1. Behind. Take a nice deep breath in and draw and lower and lift. Lower and lift for 3, 2, and 1. You can child's pose. We're going to take a brief 2 breaths and then do the other side. Moving back to maybe our yoga breathing for this one, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Okay, press your hands down, tuck the toes, hips. Nose push the ground away. Nose push the ground. And and lower and lift for 4, 3, 2, 1. Reach it back. Elbow and lower and lift and lower and lift for 4, 3, 2, and then reach it back. Back into your child's pose. Okay, so child's pose. Right leg forward, coming into a lunge. The body briefly, allowing for a little bit of cool down. We're going to press the hips forward, draw the shoulders back, and breathe. We'll reach the hands down on the side of the foot, straightening out through the front leg. And it's okay if your leg doesn't straighten out completely. You want to be able to feel the stretch through the middle of your hamstring, not behind the knee. So if you need to feel the stretch in the right place, that is okay. Thinking about lengthening through your spine, so if someone is pulling your head ever so deep and stretching out through your upper back. One more deep breath, folding away. The knee, come forward. Get to a downward. You just pedaling out. The other, stretching at the hips high, lengthening. Comes up between the hands. Bringing your hands on top of the thigh, letting your hips reach forward and down, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. And so being careful here that we're not letting all of that core strengthening work that we just did kind of go to waste. So you want to still think about pulling the abdominals in. So you're not just like hanging out here. You're pulling everything and pressing down through the legs so it's an active stretch. And for those of you who have tight muscles like that might come a little bit more naturally to you. Some people tend to have like really loose joints, and then they kind of are just like, oof, like a noodle. So I'm talking to you, noodle people. Take one more deep breath here. And put your hands down on either side of the foot, lengthen out through your front leg. And find your stretch for today. So your stretch can vary day to day based on like how much water you've had, your stress levels, all sorts of different things. So really be gentle with your body. Stretching is not somewhere where you want to like push it to the limits, no pain, no gain. Just really take slow, mindful, deep breaths and allow your body to hold. Breath. And we'll bend the knee. Step both feet forward. Yes. Take your head. Your knees even if you do. And let's roll up one vertebra. Slow. And roll your shoulders down and back. Awesome. So now we're standing tall, ready to go about our day. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know. If you enjoyed this workout, please share it with your friends and let me know what you think of Yogalates.